Okay, Jonathan, your box has arrived. So I'm going to go ahead and get you unboxed and have a look at your watch. Okay. All right. All right. What do we have here? We have a 6309 or 6139 6001. Very cool. Don't see very many 6001s. This is from October 1970. Water resist. Very cool. Very nice to see. Very original. Let's see what we got. Okay, so everything looks correct on the case. It's definitely got some wear and some, stuff. But let's see, you got a nice original bracelet. It's tapered. Now that's interesting. So tapered H-link on one of these. I mean, it certainly looks from the period. I don't know if the tapered H-link goes all the way back to 1970. So it may be a more modern bracelet, usually from the mid-70s, early, sort of 74, 75 era 6002s generally came on a tapered H-link. But maybe the 6001s did. It's a correct Seiko bracelet. That's certainly the case. I don't know. My knowledge of the different variations on this particular shape of bracelet is not 100%. Okay, so let's just review condition as we sit. Crystal looks okay. It's got some scratches and mars and things, and it definitely needs some cleaning. Your tachymeter ring and your bezel have a little chunk taken here. Case though, looks good. Not many scars. Yeah, needs a good clean for sure. Your pusher is quite stuck. There it goes. Get that off of there. Okay. Hands and dial. Certainly this watch has seen some moisture over its life. You have one scar on your sub register there at the bottom, sort of at the 13 to 14 mark. There's a little bit of a surface scratch. Your hands could definitely clean up. I'm not sure what you want to do with your loom. It certainly is water damaged, which is unfortunate, and there's not a whole lot I can do. We can leave it as it is, and I'm totally fine. It's your call, of course. I can try and get your hands cleaned. You can see where here on the minute hand, some of that oxidation that leads to the blackening of the loom has taken away some of the chrome or rhodium or whatever the finish is on the surface here of the hand. And that will not be shiny again in the same way. Give me one moment here. I want to get a better view of your dial through your crystal, so I'm going to give it a little clean up here. One moment. There we go. That's a little brighter. Okay. So yeah, you can see there are some some scratches and things here on the crystal, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's certainly pretty good. We could, of course, replace it. Your minute timer, rotating internal timer, is a bit faded. These fade to sort of a gray from their original dark, either black or blue. I think it's mostly a black. You've got some moisture that has collected on your dial itself. You can just see it just ever so slightly, almost a crystallized. It could be from the loom, that's gotten into the moisture and then settled onto the dial, but that should clean just fine. We won't do anything to damage it, of course. Overall, a really nice watch. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the case back off, and we'll give it a good check on the time grapher just to kind of see where the movement is, and we'll take a quick look at the movement. So I'll be right back. Well, that's unfortunate. So let's go over some things. So I don't see any marks in the back of your case. I see lots of dirt and debris and plenty of rust. And so this is where we get into starting to kind of question things a little bit in terms of where we're going to end up. This movement has been very, very wet, which means it is very, very rusty, which is unfortunate. So I'm not even going to really try and power things up, because what happens is, and I will hopefully make it so you can actually see some of these things. You can see here you've got lots of scale and rust that is accumulated on some of the surfaces here, and that's from pushers that have failed. The gaskets have failed, and perhaps the watch even got very wet, either dropped into a bucket or was worn in water while swimming or showering or something. And these crystallites, these iron oxide particles, find their way into the movement and into the gear train, and you can even hear it here in the in the ball bearings. So I have some fear that the rust that's here is damaging. So I'm not going to go much further than this in terms of the evaluation. The problem becomes if it's embedded in the pivots, and in particular if you have an issue with your chronograph wheel, we might be stopped a bit dead. I hope not, but you never really know, and it's going to really dramatically drag down the performance if we find that that's the case. So just to kind of review, and the other issue is that this is an A movement, and finding parts are challenging for these because they are pretty much a short-lived movement for these watches. Because of the early designation of being from 1970, it is in fact an A. So I have my concerns. I'm not sure that they're founded. I may be, I see rust and warning bells go off in my head. So I will do this. I think you actually already have some power in your mainspring. There's really only one way to tell. Yeah, I don't want to do any more than that. It's basically frozen. The balance wheel does not want to move. Okay, well, I wish I had much better news in the evaluation. Things could get expensive very quickly if things are in bad shape. But I will send you an email. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. We'll see how you want to proceed. Everything's fixable, but it may be in a situation where I might have to break into a movement, and then we're talking the cost of a watch. If the movement's trash, you may need a new movement. And I may have an A somewhere, but we're talking about a early chronograph from this era that has to be just completely disassembled in order to get a movement ready for this watch if the movement is past its point of saving. So not certain that's the case, but we only know that upon disassembly how far the rust has gone in. It's pretty bad, so I don't want to sugarcoat it. It doesn't look great at this point. Okay, I'm sorry to send sort of dour news, but I think we're gonna have some issues deeper within. That's my prediction. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I hope I'm wrong. But we only will know once we start tearing into the watch. All right. Well, thanks very much, and I look forward to hearing back from you, and we'll see how to proceed. Thanks so much.